What is up, guys? Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do 90s on Fortnite mobile. So basically, if you don't know what a 90 is, it's basically these things. It's probably the fastest way to gain high ground in Fortnite besides bouncers and other stuff, but that's probably the fastest way by building. So I'm going to be teaching guys in this video how to do it and the easiest way to do it. So first off, you're going to want to be able to do 5 things at once, which is switch and change your builds, build and also look around at the same time, jump and also move. So when you do these things, you're able to do 90s like this. And the easiest way to do all those 5 things at once is to use a 4-finger claw. There are some really good 2-finger claw players out there. So if you don't use a 4-finger claw or a 3-finger claw, then you can skip to this part of the video. And if you don't and you use the default HUD, which is this thing, then you can continue watching the video and let's get started. So when you do 90s, you need to use the 4-finger claw because you can do more things at once. So when you're doing the 4-finger claw, you have to use 4 fingers on the screen at once. I know that sounds crazy, but you'll get very used to it after you do it because it's really easy to do once you get the hang of it. So I took about 3 weeks to a month to get used to 4-finger claw, and that's not too long. And in between that, I was still using my 2-finger claw. So doing this will help you a lot, and it doesn't really take too long, so I recommend it. So in order to find the correct HUD for your 4-finger claw, because you're using 4 fingers to place on your screen, you should search up best 4-finger claw HUD for your certain device. So for example, if you have like an iPhone 8 Plus, search up best 4-finger claw for iPhone 8 Plus or 3-finger claw. Anything works. So once you do that, you just copy it down in the HUD layout tool. You can move the buttons around. You can see here, and then just apply or whatever. So when you change your HUD, the buttons will change on the screen, and then they'll be on different parts of the screen. So, and that is basically how you do the 4-finger claw. So search up on YouTube best HUD for your device, and pretty much you're all set. Now, once you get your 4-finger claw, or whatever HUD that you got, to get used to it, I recommend just go into Playgrounds or Team Rumble and just get used to playing, like farm some mats or something, or just do like normal things like moving, looking around, breaking stuff, and that will just help with your coordination, and then you'll get used to it. Alright, so now we're getting to the second part of the video, which is where the people skip towards to, the people with already have HUDs. Now, when you're doing 90s, you're gonna want to have to switch your builds, like I said before. So the best example of a practice to do is to do the triple ramp or the 3-layer ramp. So when you're doing this, you just do this, and then you do that. So when you're doing this, you first place a ramp, you look down, and then you place a floor and then a wall. So you do this, so you look down. I kind of screwed up there, but you look down and it should be more fluid. And once you get the hang of this, then we're gonna go on to the next practice that you're gonna do, which is no floor 90s. So no floor 90s are basically 90s, but there's no floor. So first place a ramp, and also when you're doing 90s, make sure you're on the left side as well, or else if you do it in like the middle and you try to do it, you get Harry. That wasn't a good example, but sometimes you'll get Harry Potter like that, and that's not good, and then you have to redo it again. So if you do 90s like that, you see you get under the ramp, and that's not good. But if you're on the left side, then boom, you do it automatically. Now, basically, no floor 90s are you place a ramp, and then you place this. Alright, two balls like that, and then you jump, and then you do that. So this basically simulates the movement of the player when you're doing 90s, but it's just much more simpler to do, kind of like that. So now once you get the hang of this, we're gonna go on to doing the actual 90, which is basically a combination of this and no floor 90. So when you do that, it's gonna look something like this. So first you place your ramp, right? Then you get your wall out, and then you do kind of like a circular motion like this, kind of like that. So you start like this, and then you go there, and then you jump, and then place a wall and a floor, and then a ramp. Sorry, and then this is basically what you do. So you just do this, and like that. So like a wall here, and then like that. So once you get more fluid with your motion, and you just start getting better at it and faster, you start doing this, kind of like that, and then you start getting faster, and boom. Now, there are a lot of common problems when you're doing 90s, and I'm gonna go over them now. So the first one is floors. When you're doing your 90s, right, and you do this, and then you know how you jump and then place the floor like that, right? Some people do it too fast, and they switch to their wall too fast. So when they do this, they place the wall, they place the floor like that. So when you're doing this, right, they take the floor out too early, so they place the floor up there. And then that's not very good, because when you do that, you have to edit the floor. I keep saying wall, what the hell? And then yeah, and that is how you do it. So to prevent this, make sure you look down and then place the floor. So always look down first, then you place the floor, and then quickly switch to the ramp. Because the problem is, if you don't switch to the ramp fast enough, right, then you would just place a box like that, and that's not very good, and then you have to start again, and it's just not fun at all, and boom. So those are like just common problems that people have. Other ones is that you might, I don't know, mispress the builds. Like for example, you won't press, and then you start like messing up like that, or yeah, and then like that, you see, and it goes all crazy. So just practice your coordination, and then just basically I would recommend just to select the builds when you're just like how when you're doing 90s, but just don't do the 90s, just only select the builds and then practice kind of like that, and then when you do your 90s, it gets more fluid. And that, my friends, is how you do 90s. If you have any problems or you still don't know how to do it, just go in the comments below. I can help you out. And yeah, hope you learn how to do 90s, because it will really help. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.